Public participation in government is very important and necessary to make sure that you can influence the various decisions made by the government, and allows you to have a say on government actions and policies that could have an impact on your life. Welcome back to Public Administration 101, proudly brought to you by Kano Consultants, for professional advice you can trust. In this video, we will be discussing what public participation is. We will also touch on the different forms of public participation. We will then discuss the benefits of public participation, as well as some of the challenges of public participation. We will then take you through the various steps of public participation. We will conclude by indicating how governments can conduct a successful public participation process, and the various tools that governments can use to improve public participation amongst its citizens. But before we do that, if you are new here, welcome to our channel. Please take time to check out some of our content, where we post regular videos on public administration, public management, and public finance. Also make sure that you click on the subscribe button so that you don't miss out when we post new videos. And please remember to support the channel by clicking on the like button. Now let us get into today's video. So, what is public participation? Public participation is the process by which interested or affected members of the public or members of community are provided an opportunity to participate and influence public and government decisions. This process is sometimes known as citizen participation, or community participation, or public involvement, or community involvement, or community consultation. Public participation processes take many forms, including face-to-face deliberation, problem solving, consensus building, traditional public hearings, as well as public comment procedures. This all depends on a number of factors, from the number of people required to participate, to the sort of influence required from such process, and even the type of decision to be made and the outcome required. In this next section, we look at the various benefits for undertaking a public participation process. From the onset, it should be noted that public participation is very important and necessary. This is to make sure that the public can influence the various decisions made by the government, and that people have a say on government actions and policies that could impact on their life. When done properly, the public participation process will result in the following significant benefits. Through this process, decision-makers within the government, as well as community leaders, are able to understand the needs of the members of the public, including the services required by that community. Decision-makers and community leaders will also make better and more easily implementable decisions that reflect the interest of the public. Long-standing social challenges and issues might also be resolved and overcome. Public participation also ensures that decision-makers receive feedback and inputs from a diverse group of people, and not just from those considered to be influential or considered to have the loudest voices. The public participation process also improves transparency in the decision-making by allowing community members the opportunity to understand how certain decisions or outcomes were reached. This process is also a mechanism that the public can use to hold their community leaders and the government accountable. Even though the public participation process has its benefits, it does, however, come with a number of challenges. In this next section, we list some of those challenges. The process is normally time-consuming and may become costly, both in terms of money and other resources. Another challenge is that some of the officials responsible for the public participation process may not have the necessary skills nor experience in facilitating such process, which could lead to the process producing unsatisfactory results. Another challenge of the public participation process is the lack of participation by the members of the community, which could be because of time constraints, or distrust in the process, or the lack of awareness regarding some of the issues involved, or even the platforms elected by the facilitator, or the chosen medium of communication. There are several steps in the public participation process. In this next segment, we look at these various steps. The first step is to establish and clarify the purpose of the public participation process to be undertaken. Consideration therefore has to be made on whether the process is to inform the community regarding proposed policies or actions, or whether such process is to allow the public to provide inputs on proposed policies and administrative actions, etc. The second step is to determine the various role players to be involved in the public participation process. Knowing the role players and stakeholders who are expected to be involved in the process will assist the relevant government department or municipality to choose the most appropriate approach to ensure maximum impact. For example, knowing what language to use and the level of information that should be provided to such stakeholders regarding the issues to be discussed. The third step is to develop an action plan. This is where the relevant officials would identify the most appropriate format to be used. The officials can choose either public meetings, or workshops, or online submissions, or other available formats. The government department, or municipality, would also identify the capacity and the resources required in order to facilitate such public participation process. This plan will also assist the department in deciding on which officials to use for the process. In the instance where the officials do not have the necessary skills, the plan must indicate how the department will acquire such skills. The costing of activities will also be established. This is done by developing a comprehensive budget for the planned process. This step also provides the basis for monitoring and evaluating the efforts in engaging public participation. The fourth step involves the conducting of the actual public participation sessions. These sessions must be conducted according to the developed action plan. Under Step 5, stakeholders are then provided with feedback about the outcomes of the public participation process, as well as how their inputs will be incorporated into that particular aspect of the government policy, or public action, or government decision. By providing such feedback, the department, or municipality, or community leader ensures that there is openness and transparency in the public participation process, which also ensures credibility of the process. This will also ensure that members of the public feel that they are involved in the processes of government decisions and actions. The final stage is for the government department or municipality to review and evaluate the outcomes of the public participation processes and initiatives. Regular reviews will also ensure that challenges and constraints experienced in the process are accordingly and appropriately addressed. In order to conduct a successful public participation process, a number of conditions must first exist. There must first be clearly defined goals. These goals must be well-defined, attainable, practical, and shared with all stakeholders, especially with members of the public who will be affected by such decisions or action. There must also be a clear structure and process. This essentially includes rules of engagement, a structured plan of action, and how decisions will be made. In order to conduct a successful public participation process, an opportunity for influence must actually exist. This basically means that the public must have an actual role in the process, and they must also feel that their inputs will be considered. And such inputs must actually be used and considered in the decision-making process, as well as in the final outcome. Another condition for conducting a successful public participation process is that everyone must be committed to the process. This means that all stakeholders and role players responsible, including government officials and facilitators, as well as members of the public, must be committed to the full range of activities required in order to make the process work effectively and successfully. Last but certainly not least, the public participation process must be open and inclusive. This means that the process must endeavor to reach out to all relevant stakeholders, regardless of race, national origin, sexual orientation, social standing, or income. To conclude, we should mention that there are a number of tools and techniques that government officials and community leaders can use to conduct a public participation process. Some of them are public meetings or public hearings, information kiosks or contact centers, events, conferences, and seminars, websites, email, and social media, text messages, newsletters, or direct mail, media briefings, and TV adverts. This video was proudly brought to you by Kano Consultants. For professional advice you can trust. Before you log off, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And remember to turn on the notification button to make sure that you don't miss out when we post new videos. You can also connect with us and continue the conversation by following us and tagging us on social media at ConsultKano or #ConsultKano. Thank you for watching. For more videos, you can click here, or search for other videos under our channel. Please join us again next time.